Now that we know what burnout and compassion fatigue look like and feel like, let's talk about how they might develop in workers. So research has pointed out some underlying risk factors that increases the chances that you and I may suffer from compassion fatigue and burnout. And if we take all of that information that research has developed over the past several decades, they really boil down to two things. There are two sources of stress that can feed into these three factors of compassion fatigue: who we are and where we work. So let's talk about these things in greater detail. We're all shaped by both biology and by life events that happen to us, right? So in other words, we're all products of both nature and nurture. If we have a history of stress and trauma, especially if we've had stressors that have happened to us in early childhood, we can be more sensitive to stress as adults. No one at work may even be aware that you and I are struggling with stress at home or in our personal relationships, but that certainly doesn't mean that we are not internalizing that stress and it is walking into the door with us when we head to our jobs. So this can create stress outside of work, can create this unstable foundation upon which our workplace stress will continue to build. Personal biology, are things like genetics and biology. This can definitely impact the way we deal with stress. And these can be a variety of different things. It can be the way stress hormones are circulating in the body or the way certain brain chemicals are being released. A lot of these factors can impact our ability to react to stress in a healthy way. We can add on to this any personality or psychological traits that can amplify our stress response. So what would be a good example of that? When I'm thinking about this, I have to go to myself and think about some of my quirks that increase my sensitivity to stress. And I'd say that one factor is definitely pessimism for me. I was a born pessimist. I'm one of those people that generally likes to walk on the dreary side of life instead of the sunshine side. I don't know why, I was just born that way. But research does show that we negative Nancy's or negative Neds, we sometimes have it generally, we generally have a harder time dealing with stress than more optimistic people do. And we could add on to this coping mechanisms. So this would be anything that we do that we use as a coping mechanism that may not actually be healthy for us. One would be avoidance, sticking our head in the sand and thinking that if we ignore something, it's simply going to go away. That'd be an unhealthy coping mechanism. Escapism, and this could be escape in, yes, thank you. Some people are responding to this. Escaping into comfort foods or binge watching Netflix all weekend or relying on drugs and alcohol. Some of these things, to an excessive extent, they can be unhealthy because when we are done using those, comfort mechanisms, our stress and our anxiety is going to be right there waiting for us. So these are all sort of the personal, individual things that can happen. What would you guess are some of the top workplace stressors that can fuel our burnout or compassion fatigue? I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on this.